Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please hit the subscribe. Now this start video. The early Arkansas morning had begun, with birds chirping, sunlight kissing the treetops, and the scent of dew in the air. Jana Duggar, always the quiet soul in a very loud world, sat in the nursery, rocking her newborn in a soft wooden chair her father had carved years ago. Just 4 weeks ago, she had brought a life into the world, a tiny girl named Eden Grace, born under a veil of prayers. Eden had been a symbol of hope, of healing, and of everything gentle and sacred. Her arrival wasn't surrounded by the media frenzy the Duggar family usually attracted. Jana had wanted it that way after years of quietly supporting everyone else's journeys, watching sisters marry, brothers grow, nieces and nephews multiply like spring flowers. This was finally her season, and then it all shattered. Chapter 2: The unthinkable. Around 2:37 a.m., Jana had jolted awake. She had been dreaming of waterfalls and wildflowers, but something had pierced through her subconscious, a silence that didn't feel right. No cooing, no tiny breaths. Eden lay still in the crib. Jana didn't scream, she didn't collapse. She moved like a mother, with instincts carved from ancient wisdom. Picking up her baby girl, she felt it immediately. Her body was cold too. Cold. Jim, she shouted, calling her husband. Jim. Wissmann. Panic rolling in waves across her tongue. They tried everything before the ambulance even arrived. Warm towels, CPR, desperate prayers. Jim's voice cracked as he cried out to God, holding Eden's limp fingers. When the paramedics took Eden, they didn't promise anything, they just moved fast. Hospital of Hope and Heartbreak is the title of Chapter 3. At the Mercy Hospital in Fayetteville, the conflict between hope and hopelessness became a battleground. The machines made a beeping sound in the dim light of the fluorescent lamp. The nurses moved around like ghosts. Within a few minutes, Eden was on an intubation. She had stopped breathing, and the doctor, who was kinded but exhausted, said that it was possible that she had a cardiac issue that had not been identified. Unreadable was the expression on Jana's face. There was not a lack of feeling on her part, rather she felt an excessive amount, with his knuckles injured from punching the wall. Jim paced outside the intensive care unit. Since the moment she was born, he had held Eden each and every night. The swirl on her left ear and the way her feet curled up when she sneezed were also things that he had committed to memory. Not yet was he prepared to let go. He repeatedly muttered, "She was fine." Over and over again, she appeared to be in good health. The family rushes in Chapter 4 of the book. Upon hearing the news, the Duggar family quickly organized themselves into a little army. The first person to arrive was Jessa, who was 7 months pregnant and had red eyes from the commute. She embraced Jana and murmured some psalms to her. Jill brought snacks that were not consumed by anyone. Joy Anna, accompanied by her husband Austin, arrived and made an effort to be the one who was strong, but when she saw Eden, she broke down in tears. Within the span of a few hours, Michelle and Jim Bob became present. Michelle mumbled her sorrow to Jana as she sobbed into her shoulder and expressed her sorrow. Jim Bob, who was typically unmoved by distress, prayed loudly in the corner, commanding healing, like a preacher who was on fire. His response was, "Not this baby, you are not our Eden." 5th chapter. The storm in the media. Even though they had made every effort to conceal the fact that Eden had been born, word eventually got out, as it often does with the Duggars. Janet Duggar's newborn, critical. Duggar tragedy was the headline that flashed across the screens of TMZ and other internet tabloids. Within a matter of hours, the Wissmann family is heartbroken over the birth of baby Eden. Pray for baby Duggar, who is now in the hospital. The social media platforms were swamped with prayers from fans, while critics stirred the boil by asking questions about the decision to give birth at home and the absence of prenatal care. It was all overlooked by Jana. The only thing that she was able to concentrate on was Eden's little chest, which was now mechanically rising and falling. Her phone was buzzing continually. It seemed as though every breath was a miracle. Every single beep is a privilege. Between the two worlds, which is Chapter 6. Time became hazy. Her vital signs continued to fluctuate like a flame that was blown by the wind, and Eden remained in serious condition. There is a possibility that the patient was born with a rare congenital heart defect. It was a dangerous procedure, especially for a newborn of such a little size. The decisions that Jana and Jen were forced to make were impossible. They sobbed together while holding each other over the body of Eden. They sung hymns. It was their hope that their voices would lead Her back to safety that they whispered stories into her ears. The evenings were the most difficult. Jin would sit with his head down, and Jana would grasp Eden's swaddlecloth as if it were the only thing that was keeping her together. At one point she uttered the words, "Perhaps God is putting us through a test." The words, "Maybe he's just cruel," were spoken by Jim, who then promptly expressed his regret. Chapter 7. The light flickers on the seventh day. Eden opened her eyes. It lasted only seconds, but it was enough. Jana gasped. Jim fell to his knees. The nurse called the doctor, who came running. It wasn't false hope. It was something. Tests were redone. New doctors consulted a pediatric heart specialist from Little Rock, was flown, and he said the same thing the others feared. "We need to operate, but she might not survive the surgery." The room went silent again. Chapter 8. A decision. In faith. On the morning of the 10th day, Jana sat in the hospital chapel. She looked up at the stained glass of an angel holding a baby and whispered, "If I lose her, God, I'll still love you, but please don't ask me to." Jim joined her moments later, his eyes rimmed with red. "I want to fight for her," he said, "even if it breaks us." They signed the papers. The surgery was scheduled for 4:00 p.m. Chapter 9. Heaven holds its breath as Eden was wheeled away. Jana kissed her forehead. "If I could take your place, I would," she whispered. "I'd do it 1,000 times. The next hours passed. Like centuries, the family waited in silence. Michelle clutched rosary beads. Jinger FaceTimed from Lay, crying softly. The boys paced. No one ate. The surgeon came out at 9:22 p.m., his scrub-stained eyes tired. "It's not over," he said, but she made it through. The room erupted into tears. Chapter 10. The long road ahead. Eden remained in NICU, still weak, but alive. She would need weeks, maybe months of care. There could be long-term complications. Nothing was guaranteed, but her tiny fingers curled around Jim's thumb again. She blinked when Jana sang Lullaby, and once, just once, she smiled. It was enough. Epilogue. The lesson in the storm. Weeks later, Jana wrote on Instagram, "I never imagined I'd be the one asking for prayers. I've always been the strong one, the helper, the planner, the fixer, but nothing could prepare me for almost losing my child. Eden is teaching me that faith isn't about never being afraid. It's about holding on anyway. Thank you to every single person who prayed for her. Our miracle is still fighting, and she's not done yet." Jim added in his own quiet way, "I named her Eden because I believed in a new beginning. I didn't know she'd have to fight for it so soon. But she's here, and she's ours."